guys some of the initial powder charge testing that I was doing. I have been shooting my 6.5 necked up to 7, definitely a little bit slower. I shoot it more on kind of what people would call like a Shaheen node, and that's where I was pretty comfortable shooting it, at least at this point. This was a fresh barrel and was just trying to get it ready in time. I know that it likes to shoot around 2870, 2880 with triple nickel really well. I don't really push it too much harder right now. I do end up shooting a little faster now, but at the time of this, prepping for Southwest, I was not trying to shoot it that fast. So anyway, you can see here, overall, I don't really shoot for groups too much with the powder, but you can see overall it was really stable through here. Some weird opening up, but this gave me a good idea of where I wanted to be with it as I went into the testing. But this was still very early on the barrel. That powder charge roughly where I wanted it. I went out and did a seating depth test. I don't have this one numbered as I should, but I know what these corresponded to at the time, and I think this one ended up being about 19 thousandths off. I thought it looked pretty good, and these are, I typically do about 6 thousandths apart, so I knew that this would have some room on both ends of it. So I shot it again over here, tested a few others, and then I liked how it was shooting, so I tested it again, tested it again. So this is 3 shots, 3 shots, 3 shots, and 5 shots, all at the same seating depth here. And that was giving me a lot of confidence in terms of going into a tuner test. And I was running out of time at this point. This was towards the middle of January. I needed to be loading basically at the beginning of February. So I only had a couple weeks left to really work with this. This is inside one of those Flavio Veloce triggers. So this one was going into my gun that was going to Southwest Nationals. I thought it would be cool to open it up and just take a picture of it for you so you could see what it looks like inside. It's very well made. It's what a trigger looks like inside. But anyway, I thought somebody might find it interesting. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and talk about something that I hadn't talked to anybody about before I went to Southwest Nationals. But that is the fact that I've been testing the David Tubb nose ring tool. And you can see this is some of the testing. I was, in fact, able to get out and do a little bit of 1,000-yard testing. They actually had closed my 1,000-yard range the 2 Thursdays before Southwest National, so I wasn't able to test. This is literally the Thursday before I fly out, and I wanted to be able to at least do some testing at 1,000 before I'd load it up. But you can see here, these are pointed with a nose ring. These are pointed and then out of the box. This is at 1,000 yards. Vertical grouping and mean radius was just a little tighter, admittedly, on this test. You've got out of the box bullets that grouped at 6.2 with a mean radius of 2.13. Then you have just pointed at 1.77, and then a what do we have here? Mean radius 1.71 on the nose ring. So on this one, the nose ring, I'm sorry, the nose ring was, well, I guess they're pretty darn close anyway. So the pointed and nose ring and the pointed are pretty close. But what you can see is that the nose rings are just slightly higher on average than even the pointed. So typically out of the box versus pointed is going to be a 1 minute offset. And then the nose rings give it just a little more, like even better BC. So you're going to get just slightly higher impact. So I thought you might find that interesting to look at. Let's take a look at the next target here. A little bit more testing before I go, was kind of forced to. So what did I do? That Thursday I shot, this would be Friday. I ran back out. It was just a little warmer, which I was happy for. I still figured we'd be shooting in probably 20-degree warmer weather. Little did I know how cold it was going to be, but according to the forecast, it should have been in the 50s to 60s. So you can see I did another tuner test. So this was blow off with 0, then 0, 5, 10, and then it just gives you an idea there. Overall, it shot pretty good. You can see I really liked, this is going just a little faster, by the way, than the last tuner test I showed you. You can see 10 still good, 5 drops down a little bit, and even one wasn't horrible. That's two shots in that hole and then one there. Same thing here. That's three shots. I went to five, and that's a five-shot group. That's a five-shot group. So somewhere between 0 and 5, I was actually feeling really good with this load, especially since it was a little bit hotter. I knew at least that was the ballpark that would get me there, so I could do a final tuner test once I was in Phoenix. I squeezed in one more final test at 600. This was shooting really good. I was really happy with it. It was tight, 15Xs. Weird flyer, weird flyer. I think we've covered this before. It was fine by me, but I don't love the flyers. But overall, I'm looking at the group and I'm feeling this is pretty darn good. So that was at my tuner setting of 5 with a slightly hotter load. And I think I was pretty much ready to load up at that point to start packing up for my trip. Now, as you know, I traditionally fly to matches that are more than about 8 or 9 hours away, if possible. And I wanted to show you what I did with my Neo X. So my Neo X, it comes in like kind of a big padded case, but to be honest, it's just too bulky to put in my checked baggage. So what I did is I condensed my Neo X here. I pulled the ears off, so you can see the ears came off the rails here. I lowered the bridge all the way and put it in. Over here is uh, my feet and some other little accessories for it that are in the little kind of terry cloth bags that Seb gives you. You can see them right here. And then this little pouch has the feet and the legs in it, or sorry, just the legs in it. And then the feet are in these terry cloth bags. So then that all gets zipped up like this, and just the posts stick through. But it gives it kind of, it helps keep it all together, keeps it from getting banged up by anything else. And then you can see this is one half of my suitcase, my cleaning kit, my mat, some clothes, and then this is the other half with my rear bag. This is that's most of the ammo. I've got another maybe 60 or 80 rounds that are loose underneath here that you can't see. And then this is the Neo X right here in this black case. So that gives you an idea of how I pack up. This bag weighs in at just about 80 pounds, but it does allow me to travel with nothing but a single rifle case, which weighs about 48 pounds, this bag, and a backpack. So everything I have goes in three bags, and it's very easy for me to maneuver an airport, get around, and do whatever I need to. Got in because of some delays and whatnot. I got into my rental, which is right by the range, 2 hours later than I really thought I was going to. I literally had about 15 minutes of range time and was not able to get very much done. So I did end up using mid range, which a lot of people do as sort of a testing, proving ground to see how the gun was shooting. So this was my first relay at 600 yards. It's not great. Pretty low X count, pretty low overall, but it was cold and it was windy. I wish I could say that it was complete laydown conditions, but I guess taking it away, the fact that it was a little breezy and a little cold left me feeling a little better that I dropped two, and they were dumb ones, like just dumb ones. You can see here, this one I lost out the right, see a little dot, so he marked that, and then this one up here I lost out the upper right corner. So both, I mean, it shot really good water line. I was really happy with that. This was a corner 9, just a bad call, and this was a bad call. So you can see I lost these both on the right side. Low X count. I was struggling to keep it in. I did make a little bit of a tweak to my tuner after this relay. So then we have this one, and it did tighten up. You can see my X's went up. Everything was shooting just a little bit better, but I did still lose one out the left here and then another corner left. So almost exactly the opposite of the previous relay where I'd lost both rounds out the right to a far, an out right and then a corner right. This one I lost a left 9 and then a left corner 9, but better X count. Still felt pretty good about it. Final one, I guess the thing is it was shooting consistently, which to me, even though I was dropping a point, this one here went out the right side. Just again, a bad wind call, leaked it out. But I felt good about how the gun was shooting at this point. So I had shot several relays on the same tuner setting, which oddly enough, was actually like within one or two numbers of where I had been shooting at home. But keep in mind, the temperature was almost identical. There was a lot of things that were actually very similar to where I'd been shooting, which is unusual for Ben Avery. Ben Avery is normally a lot different in terms of the conditions, but gun was shooting really good. I felt good about it. And then the next day we had our team match, and I don't really have any scores for that because it was kind of a hectic day, but I will just tell you that because we had somebody who unfortunately wasn't able to shoot that day, I did end up shooting, and I was really, really happy with my gun. My gun was shooting really flat. It was holding pretty much X water line, and that's all I could ask for going into the actual individual long range competition, which we're going to get here in just a second. All right, we are out here. This is the start of the long range individual match. Friday morning. We've already had a couple relays go. It's been already pretty windy. You can see the flags. I'll show you over here. They're moving. It was pretty controllable. I just finished shooting. Made a stupid mistake out the top, but otherwise it's shooting really flat, feeling good. It was pretty controllable. I'll be surprised if there weren't just a ton of cleans on that one. But, you know, it's tricky when it's a headwind, but it was definitely controllable, and I think a lot of shooters probably, I felt them go for record pretty quickly. So, you know, we'll see how it shakes out. This is only the first of many. This is the 800, and it is technically kind of the largest target that you're shooting at. So we're shooting at the 1,000-yard target, but at 800 yards. So you've got a little more surface area to work with comparatively. And, you know, it's just the way it goes. But it's beautiful out here. It's yesterday was freezing, just blowing like crazy. Today's much more manageable weather-wise. I've only got 4 layers on. Was able to take off my rain pants for insulation, so it's warm enough there. And I think it's going to start heating up pretty good here. I'm almost ready to take off a jacket. So anyway, got to go back, finish scoring for my partner, and then we move back to 900 yards. All right, we are back here at the 900-yard line. There's Eric right there, talking with U.S. Team Captain Dan Brandley. And I'm not gonna lie, 900 was a bit of a train wreck for me. Really struggled, had somebody crossfire multiple times onto my target. I just had some trouble and dropped 5 points, which, you know, to be fair, is a considerable amount against this field. And you know, it's hard. I get down on myself a little bit. I'm trying to stay positive. There's still a lot of shooting left, and I know that. But you know, you take these relays one at a time, and they wear on you sometimes. And you know, these are the things I struggle with, and I'm trying to get better at it. So I got to go score for somebody now, and then we go to the pits for a couple hours, and then we're going to come out and shoot at the 1,000. It's supposed to be blowing even harder at 1,000. I will just do my best to regroup by that point, and you know, just shoot well at 1,000 and hopefully make up a little bit of ground. So we're just gonna head up here, do a little scoring, and have some fun with it. So of shooting the Team Palma match is that you do get really good dope for your 8, 9, and 1,000. Now, realistically, pretty much everybody there knows what their 800 and 900 and 1,000 are going to be. And realistically, you're going to come up like 3 minutes from each line, so you kind of know where you're going to be. But this left me knowing that at 800 yards, I was at 16 and a half minutes. At 900 yards, I was at 19.75. And then, hang on a second, I think I got to find the 1,000 real quick. 1,000 at 22, almost 23 minutes. Again, keep in mind, my numbers are a lot lower than they used to be with the 284 because I am shooting faster with higher BC bullets. So I am getting, and we're shooting in Phoenix. So there's like all these things that compound that are giving me much lower come-ups than you would normally see, all things being equal. Every year there's always a banquet. It's always held at the air gun range. It's an indoor range. They basically clear out everything, put up a ton of tables. They do raffle. There's always a barbecue buffet. And, you know, everybody just gets together, and it's usually about halfway through. So, you know, we still have Saturday and Sunday to shoot, but they'll award, I think they're going to award
mid-range winners, and I don't think they do much else because the long range winners will be on Sunday awarded. So, and same with team. So anyway, we're gonna head in here in a few minutes and have some fun. One of the things everybody looks forward to at Southwest Nationals is the name drawing. These are all the prizes here for the raffle. Lots of sponsors: K&M, Forster, Caldwell, Vortex, K&M, Cytron, Knife Force. We got a Blake iDod, a Seb Neo X. I think we even have K&M stuff, and then there's a stock over here. But this is always a big highlight for everybody. They do a great job putting together a really good prize table. And not only that, we had some good barbecue and everything. So yeah, there's the stock. So we'll see how this one goes. I didn't get a chance to video it when I was there, but this is what I won at the drawing. So, you know, I showed you the prize table. There was a lot of good stuff. I was like the, I don't know, 15th, 20th person drawn. And I don't think a lot of people know what this is, or they just didn't care. But, you know, even as the, you know, later drawn person, this is still $1,000 tool. It's the K&M bench machine, they call it. This is their basic model. They make them where they have more spindles, but, you know, big shout out to K&M for donating it. You can see they custom lasered it on top, which is really cool. And they must have probably had a couple grand worth of donations that they did. So K&M, they're a great company. I'm just going to give them a shout out simply because, you know, they really went above and beyond donating to the prize table. But as a side note, I'm really excited for this. I to be honest, probably wouldn't buy it normally because I have other tools that I sort of use for the same thing. But I've been looking at one of these. I've seen them for a while, and it'll help me do some things that, you know, otherwise I would have been using maybe a drill or, you know, my little mini lathe or something like that. So I'm sure you'll see it in future videos, but I just wanted to show you that, yes, in fact, people do win those prizes up on the table.
Yeah, if you've seen my other video, then you know Saturday morning, this guy shaved his face for Eric. And, you know, it didn't affect my shooting. Like everybody said, oh, you shot better, you shot worse, whatever. Like it really doesn't matter. But that was a fun morning. We had a fun morning before breakfast there. So headed off to the range after this. You know, everybody still recognized me amazingly, but yeah, it was weird having a shaved face after 4 or 5 years, whatever it was.
Well, Saturday, conditions aren't much different. Flags are up, heading to the pits for the first relay. It's gonna be another fun one out here. Well, we just came out of the pits. Relays 1 and 2 shot, 3's gonna be up, and then I'll be up on 4. I realized I didn't talk about the third string yesterday. That was when we moved back to 1,000. Overall, it went pretty well. I dropped 3. Pretty tricky conditions. I felt good about the 3. You know, kind of helped stem the bleeding a little bit. And just going in today feeling pretty good. Flags have definitely come down a little bit. Much different condition than when we went to the pits. But we will see how it holds up. Anything can happen out here. So let's see how it goes. I'm just going to tell you that was an absolute train wreck. I could not have been more wrong on that relay. Just seemed to make every decision poorly. And, you know, it's embarrassing to say, but I dropped 11 points on that relay, and that's... I don't even know what to say. All right, took a couple minutes, went and sat in the car, and, you know, just try to reflect. And, you know, look, stuff happens, and all you can do is get up and go shoot again. And, you know, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad at yourself. And, you know, I know I've done plenty of that, but, you know, I'm trying to get better, trying to get back into things and not feel like, you know, everything's there. You know, I feel a lot of pressure to the people that watch me, a lot of pressure to people around me, you know, a lot of pressure on myself, obviously. And it's just tricky. It's a lot to balance sometimes. I don't do a great job. But we're gonna go back down. I'm gonna be scoring for the gentleman that I'm paired with, then it'll be my turn to shoot again, and we'll do better this time. So, see what happens.
Finished scoring for the gentleman I was with. We had to wait, for this relay to end before it was my turn to shoot again. But Eric and I had a really fun talk. He obviously knew I was in a bad place, and he told me, I don't, you might have seen me talk about this somewhere else, but him and I talked, and he said, "You're not going to win this. Like, that, right?" And I said, "Yeah, there's no way I'm going to win this." And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "So if you're not going to win it, you need to move on. You need to start learning, and you need to do something to help you win the next match." And I said, "Okay." Easier said than done, but I'm trying to get in the right headspace, and so I told him, I said, "Okay, I'm going to do something that I would never do. I'm going to go back out there on my next relay, and I'm just, the wind was still, you saw the flags there. You saw the flags in the video a second ago. Like, it was still tricky out there. And I said, I'm just going to make 20 cold calls. I'm not even going to, I'm not going to shoot it in any way that's similar to how I normally shoot. I'm just going to take a shot, put my head down for 20, 30 seconds, put my head back up, take another shot. Like, I might as well take this opportunity to practice in really, in tough wind conditions, shooting in a way that I normally wouldn't." So this was sort of one of those, pushing my comfort zone things. And he said, "Good. Like, it doesn't matter how you do, because you're not going to win this. So if you can accept that you're not going to win this, then it will help you learn. It'll help you improve for the next match." And I said, "Okay." And so, kind of one of those leap of faith. I committed to my plan on what I was going to do for that relay, and I headed back out there.
The relay before me just finished. Conditions definitely were getting a little worse for them, but I'm looking at it now, and to be honest, I'm so far out of any kind of running that I'm going to use this opportunity, because we're in some big wind here. It's anywhere from, gosh, I had 4 or 5 on the gun and holding another 1 to 2 minutes to the right, and that's big wind. It's a good chance to try to learn something. So being that I'm that far out of it, what we're going to do is we're going to head up, and we're just going to take 20 blind shots. So what does that mean? Well, it means we're going to get our sighter set on. We're going to try to find a condition, and then every minute I'm going to take a shot. So it's going to be basically a cold call. We're just going to do our best to read it and shoot it and see how it comes out. So fingers crossed, try to learn something out of this and move forward to the next match. Checking out of the house Sunday morning. Must be a really good day. Means it's going to be a pretty easy day for a lot of people on the line. Typically, the more balloons they are, usually the calmer it is in the morning. So I'm not expecting too much when we get to the range, but I could be surprised. I'm sure there are more balloons in the air, but it's always, I don't know, I have to say, it's one of my favorite things about coming to Ben Avery is watching the balloons. And depending on the wind patterns, they come almost right over the range sometimes, to where you can see people waving, and they're maybe like a quarter mile behind us or less, but they're over the highway and a little bit on the other side of the road, but they're close enough where they start waving or hitting the gas, and you can hear the so it's pretty cool. Just getting to the range here, get to see the full extent of the balloons here. Let me stop. You can see they're all up in the air. There's definitely a little bit of, obviously, wind coming in with those clouds, but I think we passed kind of over there towards the highway. There's probably half a dozen of these pickup trucks, not pickup trucks, but trucks with the trailers and stuff to catch the landed balloons. So my guess is they're expecting a bunch of these to probably set down over in this area, which is pretty normal. Somewhere within a mile of here is usually where these things touch down, unless there's some really strange wind. But this one here, it's really close. So it's always fun. Like I said, this is one of my favorite things about this range. When I lived here for a little while, I used to just love watching the balloons. It's just very cool because you don't see it a lot of places. It's very unique. Yeah, this guy's gonna come right over us, and we're still an hour plus from shooting right now, but well, at least 45 minutes. So it's not like there's any harm and no issues. I know there's people out there that'll probably say, "Oh, they're gonna get shot down." Well, that ain't gonna happen. But it is cool to see. Beautiful clouds, by the way. And in case you're wondering, here's what the flags are looking like. You can see a little bit of movement on the flags. You know, just kind of bobbing around. There's one, you know, one right there that is wisping around, I should say, a little bit. But you know, we still got a long time before we shoot, so anything's possible here. I'll check in before my relay. Okay, it's literally been 5 minutes since my last video, but check this out. I mean, they're coming down right in the field next to us, so you can see there's the road there, and these guys are coming right down on it. And these are all from pretty much one company. I think it's called Rainbow Riders, and they all use the same, yeah, there it is, in fact, on the side of the balloon, Rainbow Riders. And it's kind of the biggest. I think there's a few others, but they're basically the biggest one here in Phoenix. Yeah, these guys are coming down fast. All right, here we go. And I'm not kidding. I mean, this is maybe 1,000 yards away, although he is drifting away from me a little bit, but I got to get away from the power lines, obviously. Anyway, it's pretty cool. This one's trying to stay alive, just kind of floating there. But they're all over the sky. There's definitely some current up there because they're shifting for sure. They were coming at us, now they're heading to my right. Wow, what a difference 45 minutes make. Relay 1 is still out there shooting. The person I was scoring for is already finished, but I mean, it just went from dead calm to absolutely howling for a few minutes. It's backed off a little bit, but you know, you just never know what you're gonna get when you get to the line. I'm gonna be up in probably 25 minutes or so here, maybe 20. We just came out of a 2-hour pit duty. It's I don't know, right around noon, I think, maybe a little earlier, but flags are kind of mellowed out a little bit. Still plenty of wind to mess everybody up. It's coming out of behind us, so it's kind of a fishy tailwind. Sorry, I'm exhausted. I've been walking all over here, and it'll be an interesting thing to see. I got one guy shooting ahead of me, and then I shoot last. We'll see what we can learn out there, but I think it's overall, for most of the shooters, it's going to be a pretty mild end to the match here. Doesn't mean it won't be challenging, just kind of mild. We'll give it our best. I'll finish up, see how it shakes out. That's all we can do. Eric Cortina.
Yes, sir.
Southwest National Long Range Champion.
Thank you.
How's that feel?
Feels pretty good.
All right.
You should try it.
Now,
when you win, you'll know.
All right. Real quick, before we lose our 60 seconds, do you ever look at your scores?
No.
So you had no idea you won until the last relay?
Yep. People kept coming up to me, and I said, "Okay, thank you." And I had that's when I actually had to go and verify. But yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, hey, congrats, man.
Thanks, man.
Well done.
Thank you.
Those were not easy conditions by any means.
Thank you.
The 2023 Southwest Nationals F Open winner, winning the gold medal, 10 boxes of burger bullets, and $300 from the Desert Sharpshooters with a 1241 and 60X, Eric Cortina.
Yes!
Yeah, we're gonna do a picture of places.
And if we could get all 3 finalists for the top 3 up to take a picture.
Now you gotta get your picture. done.
Eric, you just won Southwest Nationals. Where are you going?
All
right, so here's the thing. Today was an awesome day. Yesterday, completely sucked. Embarrassing, you know, mad at myself. You know, talked to Eric. You know, just kind of remember the things that happened in the past. Moved on, and I shot completely clean on the day. 208, 210. And that's just, that's hard. It's hard to come out of yesterday and not feel like complete toast and be able to, you know, just lay back down. My wife just told me, you know, just say F it. Just do your best. Try to learn something, and, you know, admittedly, some lucky shots in there. But tricky wins today, and it felt like quite an accomplishment. So really great end to another fantastic Southwest Nationals. Appreciate y'all watching. You have a good day.